What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the AK Show, episode 14. What is up, everybody? How is everybody doing on this Wednesday afternoon? Thank you for tuning in, but like always, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, baby. Let's go. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment, share the video. Appreciate it. Thank you. We here, baby. We here back on the AK Show. That's right. We're here to get it. I hope everybody is having a fabulous week so far. Listen, you know what we got to do. That means we are almost to the weekend, so give yourself a round of applause for making it halfway through the week. Keep pushing through. You got 2 more days until the weekend. We're gonna keep going because we're showing y'all love. Y'all show me love. I show y'all love. Let's go. Can we stop? Just keep going. I'm having a malfunction here. You know what I'm saying? But we here. I hope everybody had a great weekend this past weekend. I know I had a long, busy weekend because Friday I was in Cincinnati doing extra work in WWE. So I left Thursday late afternoon and drove about 6 hours because it's like a 9-hour drive from Kansas City. About an 8.5, 9-hour drive from Kansas City to Cincinnati. Yeah, and I wore my Chief stuff when I went to Cincinnati. I don't care. I wear my Chief stuff anywhere. But it was about 8.5, 9 hours. But I drove about 6.5. Excuse me. On Thursday, late afternoon. Stayed at a buddy's house that's a referee. Shout out to Max Recon. Let me crash at his place on Thursday night. I got in about like close to 11 o'clock. And then had to wake up Friday morning and finish the rest of the drive, which is about 3.5 hours. Not too bad. But then did extra work on SmackDown on last Friday. And then woke up in the morning, drove home, left at like 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Kansas City time, because Cincinnati, once you get way out there, you hit that East Coast time, which I do not like. I do not like Eastern time. I like Central time. I do like West Coast time. I remember going to Vegas one year, and we were watching football, and like a noon game here starting is like 10 o'clock, 10 or 9 o'clock, something like that on the West Coast. And I was like, oh, I like this. I swear to you, that the Sunday night game was done by like 8 o'clock in Las Vegas. Like I remember there was a Sunday night game on. It was done like 8 o'clock, and we still had like the rest of the night to do whatever. I was like, I kind of like this. I ain't gonna lie, I like this West Coast time. I like Central time. I think Central time is probably the best, and then is that West Coast time, East Coast time. I fucking cannot stand it. I hate it. So yeah, so drove back Saturday. Got in like at 5 o'clock. I was taking my time, and then I was drinking a lot of water, so I had to stop and use the bathroom a lot. But got in Saturday, late, early evening. Didn't really do nothing this past weekend. Just bummed around on Saturday. Did absolutely nothing. Sunday, did work out, get moving a little bit, get ready for Monday because I had extra work Monday when they're in Kansas City for Raw. So it was like a busy from like Thursday to Monday was just busy, with like Sunday really the only day to like rest. Because Saturday I just got home and just flopped on the couch and just like laid there and bummed around. Like I ain't got nothing to do on Saturday. Like me and the wife, like we do not like do stuff like we used to. I mean, if it's Saturday, we be like we're okay with just chilling at home and watching TV. Like, I mean, once you reach a certain age, it's like, yeah, I'm good with going out on Saturday. I mean, yeah, we like to go out to eat, or if there's a movie out we want to go see, take the kids, or go to the mall, go shopping. But like going out Saturday night, nah, I'm good. unless it's like a concert or something. But like, we're just going out to drink, going dancing. We don't go dancing no more, like salsa dancing. But it's hard to stay up late. Like it's hard to do them drives and wrestling now because I'm getting older. I can't stay up as late as I used to. I start getting tired. And maybe it's because you getting older, and I am a PE teacher, so like my whole week I'm always like moving. I'm getting like 10,000 steps or more a day, and I'm just like I'm. By the time I get the weekend, I gotta go drive somewhere if I have a wrestling show that weekend, and somewhere far, like going to Cincinnati. Like I'm fucking tired. I had to go to work on Tuesday. I felt so exhausted. I felt like The Walking Dead because I didn't leave the arena on Monday until, even though it was in town, I still was there basically all day, all to into the evening. I got home like at probably 10:30, 10:45. Took off my stuff, took off my contacts. I went straight to bed. I woke up. I was like, I gotta go to work. I gotta go teach PE. I'm sitting here before work starts. I feel like The Walking Dead. Like from Thursday to Monday, it was just exhausting. But we here, we doing it. I feel tired right now because I didn't go to my regular part of work today, teaching PE. I had to go to the middle school because in our area, in our district, they do like an Olympic fest at the middle school where the sixth graders from different elementary schools that are going to certain middle schools, they go do an Olympic fest at the middle school. And so I was there this morning, like around 8, and then helping get things set up and just waiting for them to do their little field, for sixth graders to do their field day with like the middle schoolers helping run stations. So that was fun, but also exhausting and long. It was like 2 hours. It was like 9:45 to 11:45. 2 hours of just 5 minutes at each station, and the next group rotates, and then you get a new group. So that was fun. Got to see some old students I taught last year at the elementary school because now they're in middle school. So that was fun. Had a good time. Had a blast. And I got my field day coming up at the school I'm working at in May 17th. So I'm ready for that. Let's go. Field day. That's what PE teachers live for, right? We live for field day. That's our day to show out. I showed out last year, my first ever field day I got to put on. I think it was a success. So hopefully this year I'm just adding a few more stations. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. And then eventually when I keep doing this, I can make my field day even better. So, but yeah, I mean, that's all I did this past weekend and today. But we here on the AK show. We gonna get it. You know what it is, and you know what happened last week. Oh yeah, the NFL draft, and the WWE draft too. But I'm here to talk about the NFL draft. I did watch the first round. I was on the road and watching the first round of the draft. I had it on the phone, setting in the little holder I have on top with the map up, and I would just have it on, and I can listen to it. That actually helped when it got later in the night for like the last 3 hours of the draft because I was like, oh, the draft is like it's gonna last like three and a half hours. It's gonna last come on at 7 and like at 10:30. Okay, it's gonna get me through the rest of this drive. I can listen to it. I know I gotta wait to pick 32 for the Chiefs to draft, but they didn't pick at 32. We'll get into that. So yeah, today I want to talk about the draft, the NFL draft that just happened last weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I want to talk about the Chiefs pick and what the Chiefs, who they picked, and what I think about it, and then I want to get into that one pick. Yeah, you know what pick I'm talking about, the Atlanta Falcons. I got my thoughts on it. I'll give you my thoughts here. But let's get into it. So the 2024 NFL draft concluded this past weekend with round 1 being on Thursday. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't know what to expect for this year's draft from the Chiefs' perspective. I just know I wanted them to take a wide receiver with their first pick in the first round. I didn't want them to take an offensive lineman. I didn't want them to take a defensive player. I didn't want them to pick best player available. I wanted a wide receiver. Not because of what happened with the whole Rashid Rice situation. that had nothing to do with it. That was always my preference, even after the season ended, even after we won the Super Bowl, and people were asking and talking and be like, "Well, I want a wide receiver. This is what I want. This is what I think they need. I think they need to go offense. They need to go wide receiver because the last 2 years in the first round they went defense. The last 3 first round picks because they had one last year. They took Felix. The year before that they had 2 first round picks because the Tyreek Hill trade. They took George Karlaftis and Trip McDuffie. So I was like, and last year they took Felix, 2 DNs and a DB. So I was like, this year it's time to go offense. It's time. Last year we didn't get a wide receiver, and there was a run of wide receivers, like 6 or 7 went before it even got to the Chiefs pick. I was like, oh, they're taking on the good wide receivers. I was like, okay, well, I guess you just draft whoever you have higher in your draft board, and it was Felix. So this year I was like, after the season is over, and even during the season, I mean, everybody was complaining about the wide receivers, but I was like, I mean, they're fine. But yeah, we need to upgrade this room. I think the Chiefs knew. The front office knew. Brett Veach knew. Like he knew, okay, in the offseason we're going to address this. It's the same thing that happened when they played Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 55. Offensive line was depleted, and it wasn't even because they didn't have talent. It's because they had a whole bunch of injuries. Eric Fisher was injured. Half of their offensive line was backups. And like, you're not going to win a game when you have playing one of the best defenses in football, and you have like a depleted offensive line that had like no original starters on it from that were starting during the season. It's all mostly backups. And so we're like, yep, what did he do? Got Joe Tooney, drafted Creed Humphrey, drafted Trey Smith, fixed the interior part of the offensive line, and then traded for Orlando Brown. Let's go. And then fixed the interior, got the left tackle who we thought was going to be the future, but played 2 years. We got a Super Bowl. Hey, you can't say that Orlando Brown trade was a failure when he helped us win a Super Bowl. Like, yeah, we had him in the first year and they lost to Cincinnati, but then the next year we came back and won a Super Bowl. So you can't say that was a bad trade. If you get a Super Bowl out of it, who gives a fuck? We got him for 2 years, and now he's making his money. He's in Cincinnati. So I thank him for his service. He helped us get a Super Bowl, and he's always going to have that ring. And he's always going to be remembered as a Chiefs Super Bowl champion. So it's like one of those things. But this year is like Brett Veach is going to fix. He's going to shape up this wide receiver. What do you do? Free agency. We go and get Hollywood Brown on a 1-year deal. And we're all excited about Hollywood Brown because he's got speed. He's talented. If he stays healthy, he's going to be, and he gets his stats, and hopefully he plays good because he wants to play good so he can get a contract next offseason. We still got Rashid Rice, who came on strong when he finally started getting more playing time. Almost had 1,000 yards, but he didn't because I don't think he played the last game. I know Kelsey didn't, but Rice almost had 1,000 yards and he didn't even start. So we got that. We still got Kelsey. We got Pacheco coming out of the backfield. We still got Clyde on a 1-year deal now. He can come out of the backfield. I mean, I think he's underrated as a receiving back. And we still got Kadarius Toney. Can't talk. He has talent. I think most of it is like up here. If he can get this mental part right, he has the physical tools. And we still got Sky Moore, who I still think can just come on, and if he's playing the slot role, I felt like he was playing out of position last year, but I think if he gets in a slot role this year, I think he can add something. He can have some catches here and there, have some big moments, because I think he's pretty good with when he has the ball in his hands and he's in open space. I see some flashes here and there. Same with the Kadarius Toney. There's some flashes. I think they both can just get it right mentally, and Sky Moore could, if he's in the right position, I think they could be a nice little combo of having a certain amount of catches and having a certain amount of yards. But I think the bulk of it's going to go to Rashid Rice, Travis Kelsey, Hollywood Brown, and our new wide receiver that we picked in the first round of this year's draft, Xavier Worthy. So let's get into it. So, like I said, I wanted the Chiefs to draft a wide receiver. I didn't really have a preference. I was kind of hoping, Marvin Harrison kind of fell to the Chiefs, but I was like, okay. And then there was another wide receiver from Texas, Mitchell or Brian Thomas, that people were talking about. I was like, I hope he slides. And then he got took. And like this year's draft was wild because like it went like 13, 14 picks with all offensive players. I think the majority of the first round was offensive players. So I was like, oh, all these offensive players are going. Like when that started happening, I was like, I think there's only going to be defensive players available. Like by the time the Chiefs pick, if this is offensive heavy in the first round, it was quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line, quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line, quarterback, wide receiver, offensive lineman. I'm like, bro, if we keep at this rate, there ain't gonna be no first round talent wide receivers left. It's gonna be like, I guess we taking best player available or at any position aside from quarterback. So I was like, I just want them to draft a wide receiver because it's time. It's time. I know people say, look, they drafted Sky Moore and he didn't work out. Okay, he wasn't a first round pick. He was a later round pick. And Rashid Rice was a second round pick and he's working out pretty good. And I remember I was listening to the radio and they gave a stat like a lot of our receivers don't pan out or even get to that second contract. So it's like it's not just the Chiefs. This is what happens in the draft. Like you draft these players in hoping that they're going to be productive and be good, but you just don't know. Like you can watch all the film, college film on them. You can ask them all the questions, and you can put them through all the tests and workouts, and it may look good, and maybe they have the potential, but until they step on that football field and go against the other NFL players, you just don't know. Nobody knows. Anybody says they do, they're flat out lying. Now they may say, "Oh, this kid has potential. This kid has the potential to be great." We just don't know. Everybody's got potential, but if we could sit here and say, "Oh, this player is going to be great," no doubt about it, you'd be playing the fucking lotto because obviously you can predict the future or see into the future. Maybe you should be playing the lotto and hitting the Powerball and making millions every fucking week. And if somebody says they do know this player, then like I said, they should be. Yeah, maybe they can see into the future. If you can see into the future, give me them Powerball numbers for tonight. Thank you very much. But like, we don't know. But there's great potential with Xavier Worthy. I'm not gonna put like he's gonna be some Hall of Famer. As long as he comes in here and helps this team win, that's all I care about. If he's productive and helps this team win, I don't even give a fuck what he does in the regular season. It's about what you do in the postseason. Regular season ain't shit. Now, I'm not saying like it don't mean shit, but you know what I mean. Like it matters what you do in the postseason. If you come out here and he say he has 500 yards and like 6 or 7 touchdowns, people are gonna be like, "That's all he had." Well, first of all, he's a rookie, and second of all, how much of that first if his rookie season did he play? But if he comes in this playoffs and he's over here getting like 100 yards and 2 tubs, and then goes in the next game and does like 80, 90 yards and a touchdown, he's out here balling. That's where I care about. Like I said, I'll put it this way. The regular season in the NFL is just for you to get better and be hitting on all cylinders by the time the playoffs start. And yes, you have to win those games. But you just have to win. You have to win enough games. You have to win more games than the teams in your division. That's I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Like everybody's goal is the Super Bowl. But how do we get there? Well, to get to the Super Bowl and win it, we have to make the conference championship game. But how we get to the conference championship game? We have to get into the playoffs. How you get in the playoffs? Win your division. Win more games than your division opponents. And you're in the playoffs. Like, yeah. And then the other on top of winning the division, yeah, you want the number 1 seed because you want the bye. But at the end of the day, as long as you're in the dance, let's fucking go. And everybody is if you're in the dance and everybody is healthy, that's all that matters. Other shit, the shit you did 17 games ago, do not matter. Like everybody was saying, the Chiefs wide receivers can't catch the ball. They keep dropping. That shit's irrelevant now. Anything you did in the regular season for those 17 games over 18 weeks is irrelevant. And people, I don't know if people understand that. Doesn't matter. It only matters what you do in the playoffs. Doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. Regular season is just for you to help you get better. You got to win your games. You got to win your division. Yeah, you try for the number 1 seed, but really, you want everybody healthy going into the playoffs, and you want to be playing good football. And last year, we got a chance to rest some players, and I think it helped Travis Kelce being able to rest him. We got to rest Pacheco, Mahomes. We didn't rest Jones because he had to get his million, which I don't blame him. And then who else? I think we rested Rice. We got to rest some starters, and I think that really helped Kelce. So I was like, I don't care about the fucking number 1 seed. Like at the end of the season, we healthy. We're in the playoffs. Time to roll. So I'm really excited for Xavier Worthy, and I just with having Hollywood Brown and having Travis Kelce and Rashid Rice, I think you can ease Xavier Worthy into the offense and not put a lot on his plate. Now, that may change if they do suspend Rice this season. Then he's going to have more of a role early on in the season. But there's a chance, too, that a suspension won't come until next year because they got to let the legal system play out first. So, let's say Rashid Rice doesn't get suspended this year. And he plays. You got Hollywood Brown. You got Travis Kelce. You still got Sky Moore. You still got Kadarius Toney. You can ease Worthy in there. Like last year, they eased Rashid Rice in there, and people were calling like, he needs to play more. He needs to get more snaps. He needs to get more targets. Well, they eased him on, and then he started showing like, oh, he can handle this. Let's put him in there more. So I think that's what they'll do it with Xavier Worthy, and I'm excited about the draft pick because he had like the fastest combine time in the history of the combine with 4.21. That's fucking flying. And I hate people saying that, oh, he's just a track star that can run fast. No, he's a football player. He can run routes. He can track the ball. He's very dynamic. It's just not some speedster that's a track guy. Yeah, he's 165 pounds. He's 5'11", 165 pounds. I mean, look at Devontae Smith for the Eagles. He's not that big, but he balls. I mean, look at Dejon. I can't say his name. Dejon Jackson came in. He was about the same. He was not that tall, and what, $175, $180 maybe. He might have been a little bit bigger, but it's like Tyreek Hill's not that tall. I think he might. What he's got a little muscular because he's kind of short and compact. But I think he was around 175 when he came into the league. So it's just people worry about, oh, he's not gonna be durable. He's gonna be injured prone, but you don't know that. I mean, according to his time in Texas, he didn't miss no games. I think I heard somebody say that when he was at Texas, he didn't miss no games. So to me, that's proven that you're durable. So sometimes you have a lot of players come out of college, has a history of injury, and you have even bigger guys. So I don't think it's just, he'll put on some weight, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Some people think like, oh, he goes against like a physical corner that's stronger than him, he's going to get pushed around. Okay, maybe, but that's why we have strength and conditioning coaches. That's why he'll put on some muscle. He'll get in the weight room. He'll be fine. He's just not a track star. He's going to go in here, and I think he's going to have a productive fucking NFL career as a wide receiver. And like, I'm not putting any like expectations except to come in here, be productive, and help the team win in the playoffs and get another championship so we can get that 3-peat. But I am excited because I feel like now we have the Legion of Zoom. I'm not sure what Rashid Rice's 40 time is, but putting him with Hollywood Brown, woo, let's go. And if Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore can go in there and do a little bit, I'm telling you, we're going to be dangerous. And like I said, you got Pacheco out of the backfield. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of the backfield. I'm excited. And I know he was drafted in round 3. I'm gonna kind of go out of order, but I like the Jared Wiley pick too. Tight end from TCU with 6'6", 249. Now people are saying like, oh, he's going to come in here and replace Travis Kelce. We need to stop doing that. First of all, we need to stop comparing players to other players because it's obnoxious and it doesn't make any sense. Listen, there's never going to be another Patrick Mahomes. Stop saying Caleb Williams. You said it before when I said quarterback last year probably was going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Listen, nobody's the next Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Caleb Williams is just going to be the next Caleb Williams because that's who he is. We need to stop comparing these players. Like, nobody's ever going to be Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. Nobody's ever going to be Deion Sanders. You are going to be your own person. L'Jarius Sneed is L'Jarius Sneed. I don't compare him to nobody but L'Jarius Sneed because he's a damn fucking good corner. Like Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie is Trent McDuffie. Like, I don't like the whole player comparison because I don't think it's fair to that college player, and I don't think it's fair to the other player to compare. Like, how are you comparing Caleb Williams to Patrick Mahomes, who has 3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, and 3 Super Bowl MVPs? But you're comparing Caleb Williams to him? First of all, that I feel like that's, I get it. Like, it's like, oh, you're comparing to him, but at the same time, like, he's got this. He's earned that. What has Caleb Williams done? And it's not fair pressure to him. Caleb Williams is going to be Caleb Williams. So, like, us getting Jared Wiley, like, it sucks because because we had Tony Gonzalez, who's one of the best tight ends to ever play the game, and he kind of changed the way they play the game. And then any tight end we got after Tony Gonzalez left is like, well, this guy ain't Tony Gonzalez. No shit, nobody's gonna be Tony Gonzalez. They have to come in and find their own place and make their own name. That's why I don't like comparing players to other players, because I think it's obnoxious because no 2 players are the same. Like, there's no, like, other Barry Sanders. Like, people try to say that could have been, what's his name, Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush was Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush and Barry Sanders, 2 completely different players. I like Reggie Bush, so, and I'm happy he got his fucking Heisman Trophy back by goddamn time. But, like, this player comparison is obnoxious. So anybody after Tony Gonzalez that we drafted tight end was compared to Tony Gonzalez, which was not fair. It's not fair to these players. And then we drafted Travis Kelce. He got hurt preseason, his rookie season, missed his whole rookie season, but then I remember that first touchdown he had in preseason, his second year in the league. He took it to the house. I was like, damn, he's fast. Like, like Tony Gonzalez wasn't that fast, but he is. And now he's like probably the best tight end to ever play the game. But it's not fair to Jared Wiley that we have to say, oh, he's coming in here to be the replacement for Travis Kelce. No, he's coming in here to hopefully be another playmaker for Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to be Jared fucking Wiley. That's what I want him to be. I don't need him to be Travis Kelce. I don't need Xavier Worthy to be fucking Tyreek Hill. I need Xavier Worthy to be Xavier Worthy. I need Jared Wiley to be fucking Jared Wiley and come in here and make an impact and be a playmaker, another playmaker for Mahomes. I need Worthy to be a playmaker for Mahomes. I don't need a comparison. They need to be this player. They need to be that player. Fuck all that shit. Come in here, be a playmaker, make plays, catch the ball, run after catch, get your TDs, ball out, get in the playoffs, ball out there. Let's go in another chip. But I am excited having another tight end to go along with Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. I think get a lot of those 3 tight end packages in there, you know. But I mean, more playmakers, more people that can come in and help. That's all you can ask for as an offense. That's all you got. That's how you help your quarterback. You bring in playmakers, whether it's at the tight end position, the wide receiver position, or the running back position. You bring in playmakers. In the story. So I'm excited about Jared Wiley. I'm excited to have another young tight end. And I get it. Like, yeah, once Travis Kelce retires and if Jared Wiley's here playing and balling out and Kelce leaves, hey, he can step into that role. But I'm not going to expect him to be Travis Kelce and put up Travis Kelce numbers. Because you know why? Because Jared Wiley's not Travis Kelce. He's Jared fucking Wiley. Travis Kelce. Jared Wiley's gonna make his own name. As long as he's in here being productive and being a reliable pass catcher for Mahomes, that's all you can fucking ask for. That's all you can fucking ask for. And when the playoffs get here, if he can be that and help this team win in the playoffs and get another championship in the future, like after Kelsey's gone, that's all you can ask for. I don't need you to have 7 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards. I don't need you to have Jerry Rice, Joe Montana quarterbacks combos, stat combos in the fucking playoffs. As long as you be here being productive, catching the ball, making plays, helping your team, being productive. That's all I care about. Really. You here, you got drafted. Let's go. Let's get time to get to work. Time to go make a name for yourself. Be a playmaker. Be a reliable pass catcher for Pat Mahomes. But I am excited. I am excited. I'm excited for both of those picks, for Jared Wiley and Xavier Worthy. I think Worthy's going to do some damage when we get later into the season and they kind of like let that leash loose, leash loose a little bit, but like go out there and do some more. Go out there and we'll throw a little bit more at you. So by the time the playoff come, I'm ready to fucking roll. Let's fucking go. But this is exactly how I wanted the first 2 picks to go because now I kind of skipped round 2 and went straight to round 4 because I just wanted to talk about the 2 offensive players we got. I mean 2 skill position players we got. But then in the second round we took Kinsley Suamatia from BYU. Listen, somebody's always, if Andy Reid is the coach on this team, somebody from BYU is getting picked. But I might be exactly how I wanted. I wanted wide receiver, offensive lineman, and then DB. But we went wide receiver, offensive lineman, tight end. So I'm not going to complain. Going offense, first 3 picks, like I'm here for it. But like I said, like I'm excited for this pick. I don't know if this is like him going to take a redshirt year or he's going to compete with Wanya Morris for the left tackle position, or if they're going to bring in maybe Donovan Smith back on a 1-year deal because he's still out there. He's probably waiting closer until it gets to training camp before he signs with the team. But I've heard some good things about him, and I'm excited. 6'4", 326. I mean, big boys. We got to put the big boys on the offensive line, but I'm okay with him coming in here and competing for the left tackle and give it to the best player. Let him compete. Even if you bring in another veteran, if you bring Donovan Smith back, training camp, let all 3 of them compete for the left tackle position. Best man wins. But if he has to take a year to learn, I'm okay with that. But I heard like eventually he's the guy that can potentially be a starting left tackle. And that's the key. Like, I mean, when you draft these people, especially in round 2, like I feel like here's how it should go. Round 1, you should come in right away, maybe be a starter, depending on your position and depending on what's already on that team. But like I expect Worthy, like a first rounder, to come in here and play right away. Maybe starting later on in the season. Second round, and I know it was a late second round pick 31. So I expect him to maybe, if anything, he should be getting some playing time. And I mean, it just depends on if he wins the job. But usually a second round pick, depending on the position, they should be getting a lot of playing time. Maybe even eventually starting. Like I feel like that first round pick, depending on like what the team has already in place, they should be starting. Maybe like the early first round picks to mid first round picks should be like jump right in starting. Maybe those later round picks, depending on what the team has, they should be playing a lot and then maybe starting midway through the season. And then like that second round pick should be playing a lot the rookie year, maybe even starting towards the end of the year. And like a third round pick, I think they should contribute. They might be on special teams. Hey, they might be a starter. And then I feel like when you get to like the 4th, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, like the 4th round is kind of in between. I feel like you're trying to get somebody a steal. And I think we got one. I think we got a steal with Jaden Hicks, safety or DB out of Washington State. I heard a lot of people talking about him, and I was watching a lot of his highlight videos and things. And I was like, oh, he one of those guys. He get hit. Like I saw one who just laid a dude out. I was like, hell yeah. You put him back there with Justin Reed and Brian Cook coming back from injury, and you put Jaden Hicks back there. Whoo! You put him in that nickel back. Maybe he's the type. Maybe he's the one that could kind of replace what McDuffie did, blitzing off the corner. Because now McDuffie's got to be the number one corner because Snead left. But I feel like just from watching him and reading about him over the weekend and just watching videos and highlights and listening to other people talk about him, I think that they said that might be one of the steals of the draft. You get him in pick 30, well, not pick 30, but pick 133 in round 4. And if he can come here and play, I feel like he's going to be playing. I feel like Jaden Hicks is our steal of the draft. I really do. I do feel that. Like I said, after hearing everything about him and watching things and reading about him, I feel like he could replace what McDuffie did and blitz off the edge. And McDuffie can just worry about being a lockdown corner. Because you put him in that nickel back because you're getting Brian Cook back, who was playing real well before his injury. You get him back this season. You still got Justin Reed, who's playing at a fucking high level. And always fucking love Justin Reed. I feel like we get lucky with safeties. We had Tyrann Mathieu, and then when he left, we got Justin Reed just to come on right on in. And I'm like, hell yeah. And then we got Brian Cook, who's fucking just came on, started last season. Before his injury, he was playing real good. So you get him back this year, you got Justin Reed, and then you got Jaden Hicks. Like, let's fucking go. Like, they always do well with drafting DBs, whether it's the corner or safety position, always having success bringing in a veterans DB like they had when they brought in Tyrann Mathieu. And then they brought in Justin Reed after Tyrann Mathieu. So I'm like, let's fucking go. But I'm excited to see what Jaden Hicks does. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. I think he's going to be like one of those safety that's kind of just moves all around and just covers the tight end, goes and blitzes off the corner. I'm excited. So I'm really loving our picks. Our first our first 4 picks in the draft. I was really loving. But we got to go back to our first round pick, Xavier Worthy, and how we got there. Because if the Chiefs would have stayed at 32, he wouldn't have been there. Because the Chiefs picked him at 28. And guess who they traded up with? The Buffalo Bills. Again. Really? Really? Why? Why would the Buffalo Bills trade with the Chiefs to let them go up ahead, to swap positions and let them take the wide receiver that they always wanted and who the wide receiver himself said, I only want to play with the Chiefs and Mahomes. And you trade. Bro, if I was a Buffalo fan, I'd be infuriated. I'd be furious. I'd be like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, all right, what are y'all? Were y'all drunk? Really? Like, even when they traded Stephon Diggs, they're like, yeah, you can go to any team but the Chiefs. But hey, we'll trade with the Chiefs. We'll swap the picks and swap some other picks and things like that. And we'll take your 3rd rounder and you can move up to 28 and take potentially probably one, who knows? You could potentially be one of the best wide receivers of this draft class. We just have to wait and see down the line in a couple years. But the fastest guy, you just gave Mahomes that weapon. Thank you, Buffalo. I applaud you. It takes guts to do something like that. Because I heard it in the offseason before like free agency started. Like, yeah, teams don't want to trade with the Chiefs. They're like, no, we're not going to trade with them. Fuck that shit. Now, I think they did that shit last year because I remember in the draft, people are like, the Chiefs need to take one of them wide receivers. They need to trade up. But if it takes two people to get a trade, to do a trade. Like, it takes your side and it takes the other people, the other team you're trading with. So even if they wanted to move up last year and tried, the other team's gotta be like, no, they have to say yes, and none of them did. But this year, somehow we got the Buffalo Bills to do it again. Because when they did it before, we got number 15, Pat Mahomes, when they traded from I think it was 23rd, something like that, to 10. And at the time, like, you weren't thinking nothing of it. I mean, Buffalo, everybody was like, oh, they're probably trading up to take Watson. I mean, at the time, I was fine with either quarterback. At first, I wanted Watson, but then I started just watching Pat Mahomes, and it was the QB camp he had with John Gruden, when Gruden would do his QB camp with all the prospects for quarterbacks that could potentially go in round one. And I was like, oh. And then I really watched like that throw that Mahomes made off his back foot. And like, which one I'm talking about. The one he's running left, he throws it off his back foot, and he just threw a dot. And I was like, damn, you really think about that throw. Yeah, he had to have a strong arm, but at the same time, the ball placement on that was incredible. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this guy. And I'm no bullshit. I'm not saying this because Mahomes is good. Like, at first, I wanted Watson, and then I was watching Combine. And then I was watching Gruden's QB camp. And then I just started watching more Mahomes tape, and I was like, oh, I like this guy. I think I want him. I was like, I really wanted Watson, because Watson went back-to-back national championships and won one of them. I was like, he's a winner. But then I was like, Mahomes out here doing things I ain't never seen before. Like, oh no, I was like, and then when you get to the draft, I was like, I'm fine with either one. I think by the time we got to the draft, it was like 51-48. Or, I'm not doing my math right. 51-49% Mahomes over Watson. But when they traded up, I would have been happy with either name, because it was just about damn time we drafted a quarterback. But thank you, Buffalo, for making that trade happen. I'm pretty sure they regret it every day. And then they do it again. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, there's no way. There were absolutely no way, if I'm a GM, that I'm trading with the Chiefs. The only way I'm trading with the Chiefs is I don't even know if I would move up and give them more draft picks. I mean, the only thing I would really trade, unless it's a good deal, but the only thing I would trade with the Chiefs for is if they had a player that was like Pro Bowl caliber player that's the best at their position. Like, say if I was going to throw a name out there, Travis Kelce was available for a trade. Oh yeah, I'd call the Chiefs and get that trade done. Let's go. Like, I'll take good players away from your team, but I'm not going to give you one, and I'm not going to do something that's going to give you draft picks for trading up because you want to trade back, or allow you to trade up to get a good potential player. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like I said, I'd be okay with trading and I get a good player in return, like how Miami traded to get Tyreek. Yeah, fucking, if he's available, yeah, I'll call the Chiefs. But I'm not going to allow the Chiefs to trade back. I'm not going to allow the Chiefs to trade up. Fuck that shit. Hell no. And I'm not going to trade a player to the Chiefs. Fuck that shit. Hell no. Not if I was a GM for another team. Hell no. Hell no. Because I think there was even talk about like Brandon Ayuk in the Chiefs calling. Like, hell. But then San Francisco makes a trade and lets them move up one spot to get the offensive lineman we got in round 2, Kingsley. I'm like, why are y'all doing this? Like, you just lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You're swapping, like, literally. They're here. Pick 32. San Francisco pick 31. They're like, oh, you can move up one spot. I'm like, what? No. I'll be like, you got any other teams calling? Hey, Chiefs trying to trade up. Is there a player you want? I'll be calling. I'm not letting the Chiefs. Hell no. But hey, what do I know? Brett Veach is a fucking miracle worker genius. I don't know how he put his trade off with the Bills. I don't know how he put his trade off with the 49ers. Teams you beat, one in the playoffs and one in the Super Bowl. It boggles my fucking mind. But hey, I'm here for it. That's why we just gonna be. That's why we just keep this fucking train moving. You know what I'm saying? But oh, bro, it's fucking wild out here. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like the other players we got two more offensive linemen that could potentially be replacements, maybe for Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, because after this year they're due for new contracts, and I know that like the Chiefs don't usually pay people a second contract, but hey, if you found replacements for them, you can let them walk or maybe franchise one and try to trade them. But that could be because we got Hunter in round 5, Hunter Noraz. I hope I'm not butchering that name. 6'3", 317 from Penn State. And then we got another offensive lineman in round 7, CJ Hansen. So you never know. He's from Holy Cross. And that's more of a smaller school. Because I was like, Holy Cross. Like, he must be a good football player if you're driving somebody from Holy Cross. And I'm not saying anything bad about football players from Holy Cross, but I don't think I've ever seen a player from Holy Cross in the NFL. So hopefully, you never know. He's a round 7 pick. If he can come in here and be a solid player and be productive, be a backup, add depth, both of those offensive linemen that we drafted, Hunter and CJ, like if they can come here and just be that, you always need that depth in offensive line. It's always good. We don't have Nick Allegretti this season because he went to Washington. He came in for Joe Tooney and played in the Super Bowl, and then tore his was a rotator cut or tore something in his arm and still played. So you always need depth everywhere. So and then we got another DB with Kamal Hayden from Tennessee. So I'm really liking I went and like read about all these players and watched some of their tape. And I'm excited. Like I don't give out draft grades. It's stupid. But I am excited to see what these new crop of rookies for the Chiefs can do. And on top of that, the undrafted free agents too. Like they always you could go find a starter as an undrafted free agent. Like best believe. Like I'm excited. Like I'm excited, but you can't really give it a grade. I mean, you can't give it a grade until like 2-3 years down the line to see what they've actually done if they're still on the team, where they're at in their career. You know what I'm saying? But I am excited for this new crop of rookies to come on in with the rookies we drafted, the undrafted rookies. Like, let's fucking go. I mean, the Chiefs just keep this fucking train moving. And like Brett Veach said in one year, when wasn't this past season, I think it was the last, not this Super Bowl, but the last one, where he said, "This is what a rebuild year looks like." Yeah, so Super Bowl champions. Hey, we rebuild, but we stay the number one fucking team. That's how you fucking do it. But yeah, like I said, I get Chiefs did good. I think they did good. We just have to wait and see before we give it an actual grade. You can't give something a grade until you see them perform. So let's fucking go. It's time to get to work. What Worthy got the fucking Chiefs tattoo already. He got his round 1 pick 28 and with a Chiefs logo. Like I like that. I like that. Let's fucking go. This is the team he wanted to come to. I'm happy he wanted to come here, and I'm happy we have him. I'm happy that we got Jared Wiley. I'm happy that we got the other Kinsley. I'm excited for Jaden Hicks. Like let's fucking go. Like, I'm ready to get the season started already. Let's fucking go. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. Let's fucking go. I'm just pumped right now. Like I wish it was football. Like I always wear Chiefs stuff every fucking day. But I'm gonna take a quick break. I gotta go get some water. My mouth's getting kind of dry. I've been drinking this ginger ale. Actually, I gotta go pick up my daughter. But then I'm gonna come back here and hit you up with the second part about the Atlanta Falcons and them drafting Michael Penix Jr. and my thoughts on that. So we'll be right back. We are back here on the AK Show. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. But let's keep this train moving and let's get on. I'm gonna get you up on out of here. I ain't gonna spend too much time on this, but I am gonna give my thoughts on it because it was kind of a shocking pick that happened in this year's NFL draft. And there seems to always be some shocking moments in the draft. But let's get into it. The Atlanta Falcons, in this year's draft, selected Michael Penix Jr. at 8 overall, quarterback at the University of Washington. Now, some, if you weren't paying attention to the offseason and free agency, wouldn't think anything of it, but that's what you do when you draft that high. When you draft in the top 10, you try to find your quarterback. And that is true. But in this year's free agency, the Atlanta Falcons signed free agent quarterback Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins is not like, I'm bringing this guy in as a veteran backup. No, Kirk Cousins is a starter. Last year he was with Minnesota. He was having a pretty good season before he tore his Achilles. And then signed with the Atlanta Falcons for the tune of 4 years, $180 million, with $100 guaranteed over the first 2 years. And if you know anything about NFL contracts and heard about them, it's how much guaranteed money you're getting in over what time frame. So out of that $180 million, Kirk Cousins is getting $100 million guaranteed over 2 years. So in reality, that's a 2-year contract. Really, he's not going to see the other $80 million unless he's playing outside his mind. And we just have to see what he does in the 2 years. So, like I said, the Atlanta Falcons signed Kirk Cousins in the offseason, $180 million over 4 years, 100 of that guaranteed in the first 2 years. And then months later, they draft Michael Penix Jr., quarterback, with their number 8 pick, 8 overall in the first round. Now, when that happened, everybody was shocked. Everybody was like, "What? Why would they do that? Like, that made no sense to people." And in my first initial thought was, you gave Kirk Cousins all that money and he just went and got a quarterback anyway. If that was the case, why didn't you just do something else in free agency if you knew you were going to draft a quarterback? So here's my thought on how this went down, and I don't know anything. I don't have any inside information. It's just my thought. And then I'll give you my thought on what I think of the pick. But my thought on the whole situation is, hold on. First of all, I would have never gave Kirk Cousins all that money. Nah, I wouldn't have gave him that contract. Not coming off an Achilles injury. Hell no. And he's old. No. He's like he's like mid-30s. Think 35, 36. Let me check my phone. See how old Kirk Cousins is. 35. He turns 36 in August. And he's coming off an Achilles injury. And granted, he's a pretty decent quarterback. But he has one playoff win. And he's been getting paid money. This man has been robbing people legit. He's been a bank robber. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but what they're paying him, he needs to have more than one playoff win, right? So he got 2 franchise tags from Washington, left Washington, got a deal with the Vikings, and somehow gets $100 million guaranteed over 2 years, coming off an Achilles injury, and he'll be 36 when the season starts. So, but hey, I ain't mad at him. He bro got his money. I'm not. And listen, we're not saying Kirk Cousins is a bum. We're just saying I'm just saying he's not elite. He's not Mahomes. He's not Burrow. He's not Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Hell, I can't say he's Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And Brock Purdy was playing good the year before last, which they might have went to the Super Bowl had he not got hurt in that game against the Eagles. Not this past Super Bowl, but the one prior where the Chiefs played the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So that I just wouldn't have given Kirk Cousins that money coming off an Achilles injury and he's going to be 36. No, absolutely not. But that's here nor there. What I think had happened, and I don't even think it's buyer's remorse. I think the Atlanta Falcons did their due diligence and checking and make sure, okay, he's going to be good to go. We got him. Kirk Cousins wants to be a team with the team that's going to commit to him, right? I get that. Boom. They committed to him. They give him the 4-year deal. Basically, they're committed to him for 2 years. Once that guarantee money has been paid over those 2 years, years 3 and 4 are up in the air. You got a 2-year commitment from the Atlanta Falcons. So here's what I think happened. I think they get into the offseason, the Falcons, and they're thinking, okay, who are we getting at quarterback? Is there somebody we can get in the draft? And then maybe they looked that over and was like, I don't think a good quarterback is going to fall to us, so let's look out in free agency. Oh, Kirk Cousins is available. Let's go meet with him. Meet with his agent, talk with him, and see we like him. We think he can come in here, help our team win. We could potentially win the NFC South because that's up for grabs. I mean, you got Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay, the Saints. You got Derek Carr, and then the Carolina. You got Bryce Young, who didn't have a great season. So I mean, right now, probably the best team in the NFC South is Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Falcons got some pretty decent talent. They got Bijan Robinson. They got a pretty good defense. Maybe add a quarterback in there. Maybe they can get that NFC South. It'd be a close race if they add a good, solid quarterback. So I'm thinking my thing is they're thinking that okay, we can't get a quarterback in the draft because one won't fall to us, or that we think is going to be like Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, one of the other quarterbacks, right? One of the top 3 quarterbacks. They're not going to fall to us. So let's go out in free agency. Oh, Kirk Cousins is available. Let's check out his injury, make sure he's going to be good to go. Boom. He wants a commitment from us. We're going to give him a commitment. Boom. 4 years, $180 million, $100 million guaranteed over the first 2 years. Boom. We got our quarterback. Now they're thinking is, okay, let's go into the draft. Maybe we could draft something for defense, edge rusher, or get another weapon for Kirk Cousins. So you get your free agent quarterback. You got your starter for the foreseeable future, for at least the next 2 years, right? I think they go into the draft looking, we're going to draft maybe defense or offensive skill position player, right? And they start, getting prepping for the combine. They go to the combine. And mind you, I'm thinking this is what happened and why they chose him, how we got to this, how I think they probably got to this situation to picking Michael Penix Jr. So they prep for the combine, they get to the combine, right? They see the quarterback's throw. Boom. Maybe Michael Penix Jr. catches their eye and be like, oh, okay. I didn't expect this from him. And maybe they talk to him at the combine and, they talk to a whole bunch of players and they see their combine stats and whatnot. And they'll be like, oh, we kind of like this guy. Maybe I don't think he'll be at us when we draft, so we're not even going to worry about it. We like that guy. You get further on, right? You talk to other draft prospects. You get to pro days. You start watching more film. You see Michael Penix Jr. Oh, we really like this guy. I don't know. I really like this guy, right? We go to the pro day. Really like this guy. We interview him. Really like this guy. I know we have a quarterback, but this quarterback, we really like him. He could play and he's good. And even if we did draft him, he would have 2 years to sit at least, minimum of 2 years. He'd be, man, I don't want to say a minimum, at least a minimum of a year or two, barring injury, right? And this is probably their thinking heading towards the draft. And now maybe, and like I said, they start watching film and they just fall in love with this player. And then maybe they start hearing rumblings or talking with his agent or even other executives, or hearing rumors that, oh, he might be there. This is the way the draft might go, and these other quarterbacks might go first, and he might be there at number 8. And we really like him. I think it was just the process of they're prepping for the combine and all that. and he just caught their eye. And each day and week and month that passed, all the way leading up to the draft, that player they just fell in love with. And when they got to the draft, their thinking is, if he's there, we're gonna take him. We really like him. He was probably at the top of their board, and he was there at 8, and they took him. And here's the thing. I don't know why the light fell off, bro. Really? Come on now. Here's the thing. If you have a chance to get your quarterback of the future that could play in the league and be your quarterback for the next 10 seasons when they start playing, don't you go ahead and take that guy? I get it. You have Kirk Cousins. And maybe the plan wasn't, like I said, I don't think the plan was originally to get Cousins and draft a quarterback. That would make no sense. I think the plan was, we're getting this quarterback in free agency because we don't think there's going to be a quarterback worth taking at pick 8. But then they sign their quarterback. They go through the whole process of combine, meeting with these draft prospects, pro days, and then all of a sudden, oh, we really like this player. Oh, he's going to shoot up at the top of our draft board. Oh, he probably won't be there. We'll just have another player, but we really like him. We get to talking. Rumors start flying around. Leaks start happening. Hey, he may be there in 8. We really like him. I know we just signed Kirk Cousins, but we really like this kid. We really like this quarterback. And I think that's how it happened. And then he was there, and they were like, if he's there, we're taking him. I believe that's how it happened. I don't believe it's, we're going to sign Kirk Cousins and we're going to take a quarterback. No, I believe their plan was to sign Cousins and then get ready for the draft. And then they just happened to fall in love with Michael Penix Jr. and they drafted him. That's how I think they got to that pick. I really do. But my thoughts on the actual pick is, I don't have a problem with it. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. Like I said just a minute ago. If you have a chance to take the quarterback that you think can help you become one of those, a top 10 quarterback, an elite quarterback, right? And you could see them, they could be playing at a high level in the next 10 years. You think this is the quarterback of the future? Why you pass up on him? Why would you pass up on him? Take him. Who cares? Who cares what anybody thinks? It doesn't matter what the fans think. It doesn't matter what the media thinks, these analytic people. It doesn't matter what other coaches, former players. It don't matter what the Skip Baylesses of the world think, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith. They're not running your team. The fans are not running your team. You, the GM, and the organization and the coaches are running that team. And if you feel like, hey, he's the future, why not take him? Because Kirk Cousins is short term. Michael Penix is long term. And as a GM, you do got to think that way. And I have no problem with the pick. Like, I get it. They see this guy, they fell in love with him, and they're like, oh shit, we really like this guy. Oh shit, he might be available. We're going to take him. I see no problem. I really don't. Because at a bare minimum, he sits for 2 years. Learns, watches Cousins play, watch Kirk Cousins play, learns, gets accustomed to the league and the speed of the game, and turning into like one of those Jordan Love situations where they drafted Jordan Love and people are like, why are you drafting Jordan Love and you have fucking Aaron Rodgers? Now, Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins are not the same quarterback. Really, they probably should have got Rodgers more weapons because Rodgers is a way better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. So, but they're doing that. And I get it. Like, Rodgers is not going to play forever on your team or things like that. And you got to like you got to draft, right? I mean, shit, they drafted Rodgers. He sat for 2 years because Brett Favre refused to retire, and he's like, no. And he didn't even help Rodgers, and I don't think Rodgers helped Love. And now we may be in a situation where Kirk Cousins might not help Michael Penix Jr. because you don't want to help the guy that's going to take your job. Only quarterback I've seen really do that recently in the last 7 years was Alex Smith, where we drafted Mahomes and Alex Smith was in the last year of his contract. That's a completely different situation. And Mahomes sat for a year. Alex Smith helped him. Like, he helped Mahomes. Like, he studied with him and told him, like, this is how you prepare. This is what the NFL like. So, you know your time is coming. Go play your best ball, but also help. Because that's always going to leave a good mark and leave a great... And when your legacy is all said and done, people are going to look back and be like, you know, Alex Smith, later in his career, became a very good quarterback. Especially his last year in San Francisco under Harbaugh, and then coming to the Chiefs and playing for Andy Reid. I mean, fuck. They knew there's like, we got to get a quarterback. Let's go get Alex Smith because he can ball. It just, I mean, if you really think about Alex Smith, his first, 5, 6, 7 seasons in the league, he had like a different coordinator every fucking year. Like, there was no consistency. You need that as a quarterback. What was it? Was it John Harbaugh came to San Francisco? Alex Smith was one play away from taking his team to the Super Bowl. And then the next year he got hurt. And then, what's his name? Oh, fucking Colin Kaepernick came in and just took over and then took the team to the Super Bowl. And Alex Smith was next year. It was like, fucking, I'm free. Or I think we traded for him. We either traded, I really don't remember if we traded for Alex Smith or he was a free agent. But we got Alex Smith and I was like, let's fucking go. And in that first year under Andy Reid, we didn't make the playoffs, but years after that, we made the playoffs and was winning the division. So, and then we drafted Mahomes in 2017. He sat for that year, but Alex Smith was in the last year of his contract. But now we're in a situation where Atlanta's doing that. And they told Kirk Cousins, I think the day of the draft, they said, hey, we're taking this quarterback. And I get it. Like, Kirk Cousins, he wants to be the guy. He wants that commitment. The team gave you the commitment. Like, you can't sit here and cry about this. They gave you $100 million. I think you'll be fine. I don't feel bad for Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry, I don't. You got $100 million guaranteed. $100 million guaranteed over 2 years. You'll be fine. Just go out there, play your game. Don't worry about the quarterback. I don't think they're planning to play him this year, barring injury. Or unless you're just thinking it up. That's a whole nother story. But still, it is what it is. It's like that one situation where, granted, Russell Wilson wasn't drafted in the first round, but they signed the backup. I forgot his name. He looked like Matt Damon. If you know who I'm talking about, the quarterback that was backup behind, I think it was Rodgers. He looked like Matt Damon. He was at Green Bay. And then he played a few games, and people were like, oh, this quarterback is pretty good. Seahawks signed him, gave him a big deal, right? They drafted Russell Wilson. Was it Wilson, like, third round pick? He was a late round pick. I think it was third. Don't quote me on that. I know he wasn't a first round pick. I know he wasn't a second round pick. I think he was a third or later. Either third or later. But he came in and Pete Carroll's like, you two are going to compete. And he beat the guy out for the job. I think it was Matt Flynn. Ooh, I think his name was Matt Flynn. He looked like Matt Damon. But he was Matt Flynn. I'm positive, 99% sure it was Matt Flynn, his name. He looked like Matt Damon. Pete Carroll's like, hey, we're going to let these two compete. Russell Wilson won the job. Nobody gave a fuck about Matt Flynn's contract. Other quarterback was playing better than him. But I don't think it's going to be that type of situation. I think they signed Cousins and then they're probably going a different direction in the draft. And then they just fell in love with Michael Penix Jr. and they drafted him. And I think their plan now is just, hey, Kirk Cousins, you're the guy right now. That's short term. Michael Penix is long term. Kirk Cousins is not going to be there the whole 4-year contract. Let's be real. Because that's the case, he'll be 39 on that last year of the deal. Or he's turning 36. and he'd be 40 years. Nah, Cousins, you are fine. Like I said, I have no problem with the pick. If you have your guy, you can get your guy. Get your guy. Who cares? Nobody's gonna care. Who cares? He got to sit for 2 years. Irrelevant. I heard Dan Orlovsky on ESPN say this, and some people don't like him, but I like the way he breaks down game film. And just because he wasn't that great of a quarterback doesn't mean he doesn't know football. Like you can still know something and have very good knowledge of it, but not be the best on the field. It works that way all the time because a lot of time the best coaches are people who weren't the best players, and the best players are not necessarily the best coaches. So when if I'm hearing a former player talk, I'm gonna listen to them because they have more knowledge. They played at this very high level than I did. I only played 2 years of college, but I got some experience. But if I'm listening to a professional that played at that high level, maybe they weren't the best, but that doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about. But he was mentioning, he was on First Take with Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp, and he was saying, like, listen, like, if in 2 years, like, when Cousins is done, after the whole $100 million guaranteed, if this is your guy and he could play the next 10 years, I think he said he'd be like 26 when the 2 years is up. In 2 years, if he can play 10 years, that's like his prime right there, from 26 to like mid 30s. If he can play at a high level and help your team compete and make deep playoff runs, what are we talking about here? Isn't that what you try to do with your team? You got to build for the down, and you also have to build for the future. And he was saying, like, and other people were complaining, well, you should have took another position to help your team now. And Dan said, well, was the Falcons a defensive end or wide receiver or some other position away from make it a deep run in the playoffs? And both Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp said no. So what's the problem with this pick? I agree. Because let's be real, like, is Kirk Cousins going to make a deep playoff run? Probably not. Is he going to get a playoff win? Maybe, maybe not. There's no guarantee. I mean, there's no guarantee all games have to be played, but if you have to give me an option, is he going to get the Atlanta Falcons to the playoffs? Yeah. I think they can win the NFC South. If not that, I think they can make one of those wild card teams. Because it's going to be, to me, it's going to be between them and Tampa Bay for the NFC South. And then the East is more likely the Eagles. And then with Dallas, I'm not high on the Giants. I feel like I'm forgetting another team. The Washington, I'm not high on them right now. We have to see. We have to see and wait to see what these teams do. And then San Francisco's over there on the West Coast, and the Rams, Seahawks. I'm not sure. Arizona. I'm not sold on Kyler Murray, even though they got Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not sold on that. Not on Marvin. I'm sold on Marvin Harrison, but Kyler Murray, no. And then the North, it's Green Bay and Chicago, Green Bay and Detroit. I don't know what the Vikings are going to do. I don't know how Kalen Williams is going to do. So, I mean, Kirk Cousins, they got potential to win the NFC South or make the playoffs as a wild card team. But is he going to take them deep into the playoffs? I don't know. And were they like a wide receiver or a defensive player away from making a deep run in the playoffs and getting to the Super Bowl or getting to a conference championship game? Probably not. And I agree with that take. So it's like, okay. And like Dan asked, like, is the draft over after round 1? And they're like, no. They drafted other positions after round 1. Like, yes, they took a quarterback with their first round pick after they had signed a quarterback in free agency. I get it. The draft continues. There's still rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you have picks in all those rounds. I don't know how many picks they had, but I know they had picks. And they drafted other positions too to help their team in the now as well. They were able to secure their future, and they were still able, because the draft continues the next 2 days, rounds 3 through 7, right? I think people forget that. You don't win the draft with just the first round. You have to make solid picks throughout the entire draft, and so it continues. Right? Am I right? I think that's how the draft works. It continues rounds one through seven. So, and they were able to address their needs. I believe. I haven't really looked at it, but I'm assuming. But like I said, I have no problem with the pick. I get it. Would I have done it? Yeah, I like I said, if you believe the guy is that guy, take him. If you don't have that guy and you believe that guy is the guy, take him. Like, what are we doing here? What are we talking about here? Like, you only get this opportunity. Like, yeah, it to me, it's like a perfect situation for Atlanta. You got Kirk Cousins, this guy you fell in love with throughout the draft process and scouting these players, and you're like, well, if he's there, we're taking him. We got a quarterback now in the short term who we think can lead us to the playoffs. Now, do I think they can go deep in the playoffs with Kirk Cousins? Me personally, no. But I'm pretty sure the Falcons believe he can get them to the playoffs by winning the NFC South or as a wild card. And they secured their future for down the road. And as a GM, as a team, as an organization, you have to think about short term and long term. So I have no problem with the pick. I think people are overblowing it. It's like, yeah, at first you're like, huh? But then you think about it, it's like, okay, I get it. I like it. You don't have to do shit the same way. People, it's like, it's a copycat league. Let's do things your own way. And plus, I like a rookie quarterback. If they can sit for a year or even two, I have no problem with that. I think it's helped Jordan Love. Like when he finally started playing a little bit, because I think Rodgers got hurt and he wasn't that great. But Rodgers left. He had a pretty good season last year. Now let's see what he does this season. But I think him sitting, it helped him. I know he had to come in there, probably wasn't ready when Rodgers got hurt, but him being able to sit too, like Rodgers comes back from injury, he goes back to that backup role. I think that helps. I think it helped Mahomes. Did Mahomes probably need a year of a redshirt year? No, but would he be the quarterback he is right now without that redshirt year? Without just, I think I'm a firm believer that fucking helps. It helps the quarterback tremendously. Yeah, I think Mahomes could have gone out there and had a rookie season, and who knows, maybe MVP, who knows. But he comes that his second year in the league, his first year starting, throws 5,050 touchdowns, and we go to the AFC Championship game. I'm just like, would that happen his rookie year? I don't know. We may never know. But I am a firm believer in rookie quarterbacks not being thrown in there right away with these high expectations. Like I said, I don't like the player comparison bullshit. Stop comparing Caleb Williams to Patrick Mahomes. Let Caleb Williams develop into Caleb Williams. Let him be great if he's going to be great on his own. Don't compare him because he makes some throws and he runs around and throws the ball. No, we need to stop the player comparisons nonsense. But I like the pick. I like him being able to sit. I think it will help Michael Penix Jr. if that time comes that he needs to play in the next 2 years. Unless barring injury, then I get it. You got to play your quarterback. You got to play your rookie quarterback. If you don't have anybody, you got to play him. I get that. So I don't mind the pick. I like the pick. Go against the grain of salt. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Do what you want to do. Do what you think can help make your team better in the short term and the long term. So, I mean, that's all I have on it. I would love to know what your take is on the Falcons picking Michael Penix Jr. after giving Kirk Cousins that big contract. Leave it in the comments section. And whatever team, and tell me how you feel about your team's draft. I want to see what teams y'all repping out there. How do you feel about your team's draft? Do you think Caleb Williams will be the next big quarterback? I'm not going to say Patrick Mahomes. We just gotta let these quarterbacks and these rookies, especially quarterbacks, we just gotta let them give them time to develop. We can't expect them just to come in here. People forget Mahomes didn't start year one, his rookie year. He started his second year in the league. Let's give these quarterbacks some time to adjust. Let them get their rookie fucking let them get their feet wet and let them just grow and develop. And stop comparing them to other fucking players. It's fucking annoying. Player comparisons. I'm done with it. But you know what it is. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Share the podcast. Follow me on the socials. Look for me, AK the Ref. Look, you'll find. Look, AK the Ref. You will find me Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I still call it Twitter. I ain't calling that shit X. But don't forget to drop a comment. You know what it is. It's AK. I truly do appreciate everybody that tunes in. We gonna keep this show rolling. Eventually, we're gonna have some guests on this show. We gonna start that. I'm thinking planning over the summer have a few guests here and there, and probably a lot of my guests. I'm gonna be honest. At first, will probably be in the pro wrestling world, but then I want to expand to people that work in movies, work in music industry and things like that, and other aspects of entertainment. Hell, I might even have like entrepreneurs on. We gonna get it. We gonna just keep this train rolling. If shit changes in the way in what I want to discuss and talk about, or whoever I want to have on, we'll have them on. But guarantee there will be no politic talk on this fucking show at all. Because I know nothing about politics and I'm not going to discuss it. That's just the way. We're going to keep it strictly to sports and entertainment. And if we want to, we'll get some business people in here. We'll talk some real estate. We'll talk some business, entrepreneurs. I'm for it. Let's grow this fucking show, the AK show. Let's fucking go. It's your boy AK. I'm out. Peace.